Alright, this is Gemini IT. We're going to spend some time working with Tonic at the menu level today. Let me get logged in and I'll open the store real quick as a manager. And again, if you have any questions for us here at Gemini IT, feel free to give us a call. Our toll-free number is 888-406-4940. That's 888-406-4940. As a reminder, regarding support on your Tonic point-of-sale system, it's important that you call Tonic first. That's your first access. They have 40 support people based here in the United States, most of them out of the Atlanta area. And you have a sticker on your equipment that says for Tonic support and the toll-free number there. They operate 24 hours a day. They have both English and Spanish speaking support folks. And what you'll want to remember to do is give them your store ID, which is here in the upper right hand corner of any terminal that you're at, and be sure and tell them what terminal you are located at. Down here at the bottom left, the first number, it'll be TS something or maybe FC something or whatever. Tell them what terminal you're at, and they will be able to provide you that tier 1 support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in Spanish and in English. And if they can't get it resolved, they will reach out to us, and then we can remote in and help, or if we need to, we can dispatch a technician. So with that said, first thing, if you're staff, you want to make sure that you've clocked in and clocked out. You can do that from these buttons down here at the bottom of the screen. Just hit clock in, and for example, if I'm a server, I can go here and I can hit clock in, and now I'm clocked in. And if I'm a bartender, I'll hit clock in and I'll key in my little demo. Oops, sorry about that. You lose the little back arrow here if you key in the wrong number. Hit clock in again. User's already clocked in, so we don't need to worry about that. My bartender's been working long hours. Anyway, so here we are. We're clocked in, ready to go. I'm going to key in my demo manager code here, and we're going to our store is open. We're good to go. We're going to spend some time in menu management. This is a rather lengthy video. I really expect every manager, every server, to make sure that you watch this video in full. Please do that. It is part of your training. It'll save you frustration in learning a new system, and it will make training go so much easier, and you'll be able to serve your guests better, which has all the benefits in the world to it. So with that said, we'll get started here and go through the training for menu management. I know that especially for new sites, new staff, not only are you learning the operations of the restaurant, you don't know where stuff is on the printed menu that you're handing out, and yeah, your managers will make sure you understand the menu that your guests are ordering from, and that's your all's responsibility for sure. But then now you go to the point of sale and you key in the order. You need to know where those items are on the point of sale system in relationship to the menu. We here at Gemini will have programmed this menu according to how your management wants us to categorize the menu, modifiers and that sort of thing. So we will have put items where we've been asked to put the items. It'll be logical in sense. So maybe in those early days you keep a copy of the menu with you. So if somebody orders a mushroom Swiss burger and you look on the menu and you see that it's in the entree section, you know to press the entree button to get to the mushroom and Swiss burger. If it's on your menu, if it's in the sandwiches and burgers section, maybe that's your clue that you need to press the sandwiches and burgers section to get to it. So we're just going to log in as a server, but please do that. And if you're a server, you're going to want to get that order entered into the point of sale system as quickly as possible. So this is a wait staff concept that we have here with table layouts. If I'm just doing a quick service, quick sale, then it will take me straight to the layout with the departments across the top and some speed buttons here for most commonly sold items. So we're going to take this from the concept of a server with a table layout, and this has two different layouts. I've got a pool table here and all that other kind of stuff. I'm not trying to do a demo. I want to make sure you guys are understanding the training here. So I'm going to select the table where the guests are seated. Make sure you key in the right table. We try to design our table layouts to give a fairly decent rendition of your layout. Verify the table that you're keying this in. If you select the wrong table, food's going to come out and going to go to the wrong table. Then if somebody tries to key in the order on the correct table, now you got a mess and you've got to move the table. Now we can do that, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. But make sure you key in the right table to start with. Here we're prompting for the number of seats. Sometimes you will see this, sometimes you won't see this prompted. I'm just going to put one seat in here, and we'll talk about seats in just a minute. So now I'm good to go as far as logging in as a server. I'm going to select a category here. I'm going to select go to my beverages category. One person gets a cherry Coke, one person gets a Pepsi. Let's say there's two people here, but I didn't start off ordering a seat, so we're going to spend some time splitting checks and then talk about a better way to do that. So if I just do drinks, and then maybe I go over to appetizers, and let's say they order a guac and chips for their app. If I hit send, that's going to go off to kitchen printers if I have them. Notice here on my table, it shows that server 1, that's me, so have your name up there, the table number, show how many minutes the ticket's been open, and it'll show the current total and how many people are at the table. So most server environments, this is going to log out after you hit send, so you'll be back here. So now I'm ready to come back in and add some more items to this. So I will log in under my server ID. I'll go to the dining room layout and I'll select my table. So there's my order. I'm ready to enter in some entrees. So I'll go over here to entrees and I'll select the New York strip, and it's going to prompt me for some modifiers. If you have those, you can pick those, and we'll add some crab cake to that, apply that, and we'll pick fries and a Caesar salad for the side, and be done entering that one for that one. And let's go to sandwiches, and we'll see if we can't find our mushroom burger that we talked about at the beginning of this video. I have a temp prompt on these burgers. I realize that some places don't do that. I'm going to pick Swiss cheese, and I'll apply the modifiers there, and I'll have fries for my side, and I'll hit send. So please, whether you have prep printers, kitchen screens in your kitchen, or you hand deliver tickets to the kitchen, please get that order entered in as quickly as possible. The last thing a guest wants to have to wait on is when they're ready for the check and you haven't put stuff in the point of sale system. Obviously, if you're using kitchen printers or KDSs, that stuff has got to get entered in there before the food's even prepped. But if you're not using prep printers, please get that order entered into the point of sale system. It saves you time on the back end. If you haven't entered in and the guests go up to the front counter or wherever to pay, now you're forcing the front counter person to key in your order and try to figure this out, and that's just not good. So I realize everybody's busy with things to do, but this is what I call table stakes of what you need to do. So now we're ready to go. The guest is ready to go. If it's all together on one check, I'll hit print. It'll print the guest check. And whether you have guests go up to the front counter and pay, or guests are allowed to pay you, credit cards or cash if you're doing server banking, that kind of thing, they can pay you. So I've printed the check and I can hit pay, and then I can tender it out either way. Cash here, key in, just hit tender, key in how much they give me, and it'll print a receipt for me. If it's credit, then I'm going to highlight credit over here. I don't have authorization on my demo to run credit cards since it's a demo account, but I hit credit, and if I'm doing dual pricing or whatever I'm doing, it'll change the pricing, and I hit process no matter what. So if this is a cash ticket and I hit process, it's going to pop the cash drawer and be done. Let's say we need to split this check, or tell you what, let's go back and void some items first. So let's say I entered this in and the people didn't like the taste of the Pepsi for whatever reason. You needed to remove the Pepsi, and maybe they decided they wanted a beer to drink. Whatever it is, guests are strange. We've already sent this off to be prepped. If you haven't hit send, you can highlight the item. I'm going to touch Pepsi here, and you can hit void and ring up whatever other items there are, no matter what. But I've hit send, so I've got to have manager approval to do that. So it's going to prompt me for the authorization. And notice I've got authenticate and remote auth down here. If I've got if there's no manager available to authenticate this, to approve this void of an item that's already been sent, Tonic has an app that managers carry on their phones to allow remote authorization. So I could click this, it'll send a message to the manager, and then they can approve it remotely so that you can get on with your business. But I got a manager on duty, so I'm going to use my manager's demo code here, hit authenticate. Sometimes, depending on your system is programmed, it'll prompt for comments here. This allows us to have information to track in the back office as to why things may have been voided or whatever it may be. I'm going to say didn't like, tasted funny. So this may seem like, why am I doing this? Well, this is a clue for folks to check those lines, maybe, or your soda provider to look at the mix of how things are, how the syrup is mixing with everything. So this can be important. Sometimes you don't need to put anything in there, and you can just hit the enter key. But think it through. Think beyond the moment in time. It doesn't take but 3 seconds to handle it. So now the cherry Coke's gone. We'll go back over here to beverages. Beer's not there. Beer's under the beer category, so we hit beer, and let's say they're going to have a Guinness. All right, so now that's on there. We'll hit send. Okay, great, you're ready to go. We can print the guest check again. And again, I'm getting some errors here because I don't have all the different prep printers hooked up to my point of sale system. So that's sent off. The bartender brings them a Guinness. We're in great shape. So go back into the check, and I can of course pay it out like we did before. But now let's say I didn't split this check up, or maybe the guest changed their mind, and I know that it's great server practice, and it should be. When you approach a table and there's more than one guest there all together, and that's all you got to say. And they go, yeah, no worries. You don't have to worry about splitting the check. But if there's 2, 3, 4, 6 people there, and you say all together, maybe 2 of those people go, we're together, and the other 2 people go, we're together, and the other 2 people go, we're together. So now you've got 3 seats there. You need to have 3 checks. Whether you're handwriting this on your pad or using a handheld from Tonic to key the order in, please enter the order in by seat. That's very important to do, and you won't have to go through what we're about to go through. There is a set of seat buttons here for just about every table service restaurant that I do. That's right underneath the categories for you to change the seats as you're keying in the order. So I would first one's going to be under seat 1, and maybe it's the Coke and the chips or whatever. And then when I key in the second ticket, I hit the number 2 that's right underneath here, and it saves everybody time when that guest is ready to pay. and you don't have to spend 5 minutes at the front counter or afterwards splitting up a check. Please, if they're going to be splitting a check, please use that seat function. Can't stress that enough. But if you didn't do it, here's how to do it. This little hamburger icon in the top left of the screen, just off from the order name here. I'm going to press this hamburger icon, and I'm going to click on split. So now I get table 1 and table 1-1. So if I'm splitting this off, let's say there were 3 people there, even though we only have 2 drinks and 2 main items here. Let's say the second person got the cherry coke and the mushroom burger. So I'll touch both of those items and tap anywhere in the white area over here. So that moved those over. Now, let's say I've got another split that I need to do for somebody's going to pay for the they're going to split the guac and chips, this appetizer, across those 2 tickets. See the split item button that showed up when I touched guac and chips? Split item. Now that's splitting however many. So if there's 2 people paying for it, I can hit the 1 to 2. Now I've got that turns into 2 items. So I just touch it and move it over here. So I'm good to go. Now I can print all of these and I'll get 2 separate checks. So now when the guest goes up to the front counter to pay, all they got to do is hand the check, and whoever's there can pay those out. So we'll hit print those all, and we'll go ahead and hit send to get this out of the way. Now notice on my table layout, there's you, the server, table 1, 2 guests. It's been open 11 minutes, and the seat 1 total is at 72.43. So we'll touch that. Notice I've got my splits here. So there's the first split. So now that you've split that for the guests, and whether they're paying you as the server or walking up to a front counter to hand these checks to the server, to the cashier, that cashier can get people out the door. And it's especially critical at lunchtime because guests don't like standing in lines. They've come to your restaurant, they've been seated, they've been served, the food was great, they're ready to go. You've given them a properly printed out guest check that's been split properly if necessary. And now, whether they pay you or they have to walk up to a front counter to pay, it's a fast process, or faster process anyway. So when they go up and the front counter cashier hits that icon, they just see these 2 tables, and all they've got to look at is whether this is table 1 or table 1-1, and then they can also verify it by the amount. So let's say table 1's going to pay. I'll highlight that, and I can hit pay, and I can take the payments however I'm doing, whether it's cash or credit or gift card. We'll talk about the tab functionality here in just a bit. Process it. My server is not allowed to take payment, so I'm going to authorize it here. I've got this set up to where a front counter person takes the payments on that, but that's why it prompted for that authorization code. If you're doing server banking, it won't be the issue, or if you're the front counter cashier, it won't be the issue. So for example, let's go back out. I'll log out, and I will log in as, I think my manager has permission to do that. So here the manager can see all the orders. Now I can go to dine in here if I want. Oops, sorry. And I can see that as well. I can access it that way if I want, or I could have accessed it from the front screen. And we'll take the payment here. Let's say they gave me 20 bucks. I could hit this quick tender key over here, or I can hit the tender column and key in the amount, and ask me if I want to print a payment receipt. No. Okay. And it'll show the change due over here. So that got that one out the door real quick. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to select another table. I'm going to pick 2 seats. And I can do this on the front end if I'm prompted. And usually I'll have, again, that seat function over here. And what I want to do here, show you how to change, the name of an order if I need to. So that's table 2. When I touched on that, I can come in here. I can change the order name if I want. So I can put, whoops, I forgot that I can't do that without using my little keyboard here. So I'm going to call this order Gemini. I can put a phone number in there and do whatever I want. If the order is tax exempt, by touching on this order name up here, I could touch that and select which tax I'm getting rid of. It's important if you're in a bar and you hit tax exempt, you cannot exempt liquor tax. You can only exempt sales tax. Liquor tax on beer, wine, alcohol is something that has to be paid by the restaurant, no matter who they are. Discounts are also in here, so a percentage discount here or another discount here, I can apply those discounts, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. So we'll go back to the menu by clicking on the menu button that's here, and let's just bring up a couple of things again. We'll do a couple of beverages, and we'll do the appetizers. So let's go back to beverages again and ring up a Pepsi. And we'll go to entrees and we'll ring up the veal parmesan and we'll send that off to the kitchen. So just a little bit of information there of how to key in items, that sort of thing. I am going to go here. Because if I pick the Coke, here I can give a percentage off on just the item. I can put a comment in here to special instruction to the kitchen. Maybe I go to veal parmesan and I go to comments. I can say, I don't know, grill on one side. And that will send that information to the kitchen when I hit send. Notice when I hit veal parmesan, no modifiers showed up. But now that I've touched veal parmesan, I get a list of modifiers that are available not only to just this item, but what we call store-wide. For example, kitchen instructions. Maybe I can say see server as an app, outrush, or rush it, or don't make, or whatever, that kind of thing. So those are kitchen instructions that are there. Maybe I want to add some modifiers. I have a group of modifiers here that I want to add bacon to my veal parmesan. So if the modifiers don't show up and you need to get to modifiers, you can touch the item. They'll show up here. If you don't have what you want and you just need to send a note to the kitchen on it, when you touch the item, you can hit comments. If you have manager approval, or if you have the permissions to change the price of an item, you can come here and do that. If, for example, let me go to the menu here, and I'll go to my sandwiches, and I'll go to that mushroom burger. I'll key in my temp. I want cheddar cheese instead of typical Swiss, and I want fries for the side. Maybe the guests change the side before you hit send or whatever, and you can go to sides, and now I can change barbecue fries, and take off the regular fries, because I can do the one, and that'll change and I've got a modifier group for my barbecue fries, potato prep, well done, fries crispy, whatever. I don't have to put anything there. If I don't need any of those modifiers, notice I just hit apply modifiers. So there we go. Also, if I have manager privileges, I can change the price. For example, whatever, if because I added, notice that over here it's saying $6.95 for the mushroom burger. Why does it say $9.95? Well, I added cheddar cheese instead of Swiss, and I added barbecue fries, so that increased that $6.99 price by $3. Well, I don't know. Maybe for whatever reason, again, and I have to have approval to do this. Not just anybody can go in and change prices. Change the price of the base burger to $4. Now when I do 4 plus 1 plus 2, that equals 7. So just some notes there. If somebody else says, yeah, I want the same thing, to save you time of having to go through this and do this all over again, you can hit duplicate, and it will duplicate the order exactly. So, a lot of times, go to an Italian restaurant, lasagna, light sauce. Yeah, I have what she said. That way you don't have to do the same thing, all over again. Save you a little bit of time. So there's all the information there. And again, we've gone through how to split things. We've gone through how to void items. So please refresh yourselves with regard to that functionality. And another video, let me try something here real quick. If you'll just bear with me, I'm going to go over to my store and I'm going to turn on seats. If you'll just bear with me real quick, because this is something that I definitely want to show, and it might be that I need to do this at the there we go, seat view. So I'm going to hit save, and that'll push down to our site here that we're working with. Sometimes it takes about 15 or 20 seconds for this stuff to show up. We'll see how quick. We'll pick table 1, and I'm just going to go back because I'm, not there yet. What I'm wanting to see is my list here. Let me go ahead and log out, and I'll log back in. I'll pick a table. There we go. So this is what I'm talking about, that if you guys will use this when you're keying in an order, if you're table service, you will save guests and cashing out tons of time. So here we are at seat 1. And you can, whether you're writing this on a pad or however you're doing it, you can handle this really well. So seat 1, got the black cherry soda, and I've got an open price for that for whatever reason. So that's how you would handle open priced items. And seat 2, got the cola. Appetizers, we got the guac and chips. We'll just put that on seat 1, even though we're going to split that a little later. We'll do this pretty quick. We'll go to sandwiches. Seat 1 got the basic burger, and we'll do the cheese, and we'll pick the side of fries. Just in seat 2, got the BLT with fries. And so, great. So notice what we've got here. Seat 1, black cherry soda. Seat 2, cola. I'm going to click on this eye up here to get rid of some of that stuff on our check. Seat 1 got the guac and chips. Seat 1 got the basic burger. Seat 2 got the BLT. Now, the only reason I did that is because they told me that we're splitting checks. So however many number of split checks, not necessarily number of people at the table, even though you could use it for that, but that's just a lot of work if everybody's together. But it does prevent what we call food auctioning when a runner brings the food out. But we're going to go ahead and send this off to the kitchen. It's gone. Now I'm ready to print their check. Watch what happens when I bring this up and I go to split. I hit the hamburger icon here, hit split. Notice where I've got split by seats down here at the bottom. So I hit that. That moves all that stuff over automatically. Now all I've got to do is touch the guac and chips up here, split the item, split it across those two parties that are paying, and move it over, print the checks. See how easy that was? Because I did a little bit of work on the front end. Now you as the server can give the guest the proper amount of tickets, the proper tickets to pay, whether they're paying you as a server with server banking, whether they're taking those checks up to the front counter, makes all the difference in the world. So please make it a practice to do that. So I realize we're at 30 minutes. That's kind of where I want to stop. Appreciate you all taking the time to review these videos and go through this training. It's something to reference, something that makes everyone's life easier if we will just do the functions that we've talked about. Be sure to hit send when you close things out like that. All right. Thank you again. Again, this is Jim and IIT, serving Oklahoma, Arkansas, now Louisiana, and soon the state of Missouri, along with southern Kansas and North Texas. We look forward to working with you as we grow our business and serve you as the hospitality world continues to do what you guys do best. Thank you.